is going on, ladies and gents? Sorry I haven't been around. We have been jam-packed, ridiculously busy, with no slowing down in sight, which is good. It's just bad for me making content. Welcome back to the most hated GTO Barrett Jackson has ever sold. 100,000 views, 300-something comments. Every single person in the world hates the wheels, but hey, it's not yours. It's the customer's, and he likes them. Let's go over what we got done here. So I've done a ton since last you've seen. Let's start in the interior, which was gutted besides the rug, headliner, and side panels. The entire dash was taken out of the vehicle. Wiring was an absolute mess. Still needs a bunch of cleanup, but I have taken the entire dash out. We've put in our Dakota Digitals. I rewired what I need to rewire. The lighting system. So we'll do stuff like, trying to figure out why I have parking lights but no headlights. Well, the headlights, the main power that feeds your headlight switch, they had it teed off into the horn relay power feed in the engine bay for some reason, because it's supposed to go straight to the battery. And so your headlights wouldn't come on because that doesn't have power unless you hit the horn. And then if you hit the horns don't work because the lights are trying to come on and it's too much current draw taking away from the horns. Oh my, it was a mess. So I rewired all that. We've got our vintage air in here now. Let me jump on in. If you didn't know, this is a 1969 GTO. It's got a 6.2 LS3 in it with a cam, unknown specs. Whoever sold this sold it as a flip vehicle, basically. We have no idea what cam it is. I just know it has a cam. It's also got a 5-speed Tremec in it with a mechanical clutch, which is awesome because 4 speeds suck. So Dakota Digitals are in and wired now. Everything is working. Custom auto sound radio deck is in. The only thing that's not done on this is we're waiting for our amp and our RCA cables to get here, and as well as our vintage air is all in. I need one more reduced barrier number 8 fitting to finish that, and then I can evac and charge that. And we're also waiting for a radiator to get here because the radiator they had in it was just some random universal aluminum radiator, and their mounting system, we'll say, left a lot to be desired. So I am doing that correctly now with the correct radiator and fan setup, because their fan setup this is their universal radiator. Let me dig this thing out of here. Was like a truck dual. Shouldn't have shoved it under there. There we go. A truck dual fan setup in which they cut a bunch of it away for clearance for the not cold air kit because it was sucking in hot radiator air and stuff like this where I just don't know what they did. Cut this all out. It was a horrible mess. So factory AC that was not hooked up is gone, as well as the heater box. Probably be selling all that stuff. So we've got our block off plate in there for our vintage air. And what that's going to allow me to do is to mount, this is a whole nother story in itself, which surprised me, but mount this fuse block, my E38 ECM, on a couple of really nice brackets from Bowler Performance Transmission. Super awesome brackets, fit nice and tight. We're going to mount those right in there. This fuse block, I had to do some digging because I wanted to know if my, sometimes PSI, I think it's PSI. No, it's not PSI. It's, who's the other guys there? I forget. But some of these kits, your fan signal is like switched power instead of the switched ground like it should be. Factory ECM, it should be switched ground. This is relayed and fused inside that. I had to look it all up and figure out if that was switched ground or not. This is actually the GM Connect and Cruise wiring system. That shocked me because the amount of hackery I saw on this thing, that's a $2,000, I believe, fuse block and wire and assembly. Whew, awesome. I'll take that, but I was not expecting it. The gas pedal, the drive-by-wire gas pedal, was just screwed into the firewall in the most janky of homemade brackets ever. So we got a nice one from, crap, I threw it out already. I forget who it was. I think it was AVR. Make a really nice one. Same one we used in the blue GTO. I'm going to remake this so that it comes over here and down in your fender well and is no longer sucking hot air from the radiator. We also got our Holley front runner on. As you can see, I'm 98% through. I just got to do this one last line. I'm waiting for a straight fitting to come in here. Radiator, as I said. We're going to clean up almost all that wiring on top of the engine is getting cut out. That's all stuff for the original 1969 equipment, gauges, voltage regulator, all that stuff, which we don't have in this anymore. Let's get to the good stuff. I'm not going to show you the profile yet, but let's put it up in the air and we'll take a look underneath. First off, we've got some nice big shiny Wilwards in here now. 6-piston front, 4-piston rear. Then we have a beautiful and unbelievably well handling, and I know because I drove that car with it, this exact same system, RideTech front and rear suspension system with their coilovers, single adjustable, with front and rear sway bar. Awesome kit. This changed the entire attitude of the car. Well, when it gets back down on the ground, I'll show you that. But everything in the front for that, including the pin-style spindles. There's our Wilwood brakes. This exhaust leaves a lot to be desired. It is going to be, I'm not sure if he's going to redo the whole thing from the manifolds back, or if we're just going to, we need to cut the pipes and the mufflers, move the mufflers forward about this much to get clearance to go over the rear axle on this. And we are also getting rid of this tank. This is another big bunch of jankiness. And getting at the tank's ink tank, same tank we have in the Chevelle and in the GTO, and it has the cut-off corners here for more exhaust clearance. So the janky part of this tank, I wanted to know what it had for a fuel pump in it because we're putting the tank's ink tank in it. And I was like, oh, if it's got a 5-volt fuel level and sender, we can swap those right over. So I dropped this tank down, I took a look. It has the factory style, carbureted style pickup. So I was like, that can't be, because this definitely doesn't have, or it has an in-tank pump, but in-tank pumps, this is not a returnless pump, because we have a Corvette style regulator in here that's in front of the tank, which is another thing I don't like. And I was like, I gotta check this out. So I put it down, pulled the sender out, and what they had done was just take a fuel pump, not sure what the specs are on it. This isn't anything crazy for a motor, so like a 300 or a 290 LPH should be able to do it. But they had just cut the tube on it and put a piece of hose, so the fuel pump is basically just kind of sitting right above the bottom, and just worm clamp that thing on there. Not great. So that's coming out. It's getting the tank, the sender, 340 LPH unit fuel pump, and their tube style fuel level sender. So when I say I don't like this style stuff for the Corvette fuel regulator, I'm talking this right here mounted in this area. It's just going to be in the way of all this because this car is going to be much lower now, and it's too close to any heat sources for me. So when we get the new tank, it has a supply and return port on the pump, and we are going to run it how I always run it, basically like factory, up and over here, come down over here. We're going to mount our Corvette regulator right here, and then run it forward and up to the stock LS3 quick connect port there. I don't like mounting that stuff up there. We have a local guy here who owns a speed shop who the locals regard as awesome, and the rest of us regard as, here we go, we got to fix another one of his cars. And he loves to put them there. And they smash off the rear end. They friggin' boil the fuel because they're half-inch from the exhaust when he's done with them. So, yeah, not great. But our rear RideTech coilovers, rear Wilwards, the whole RideTech setup, sway bars, all that stuff, it's coming together. It has been MFer, because I was not expecting it to be as hackeried as it was. I kind of had an idea, just from what I could visually see when we did our initial inspection that you guys all hated, but still watched. Thank you. So yeah, but let me put it down. I'll show you how she sits now. So, in case you don't remember how this vehicle sat before, it was kind of a monster truck. So I'm gonna put a picture in here right now. So as you can see, it looked like it was ready to do some Dukes of Hazzard type stuff. And this is where we are now. So much better. I'd like to go a little lower in the front. We might. I just got to make sure ground clearance is good all around once we start driving it and get, you know, suspension movement and everything. The rear, that rear tucks that 20-inch perfectly. So these are 20s in the rear, 18s in the front. That's part of the problem why there was so much of a huge tire gap there. The sidewalls of the tires are correct as far as having the same aspect ratio viewing for the front and the rear tires. If we put a taller tire on there to take up the wheel well, those would look gigantic compared to these, which would look more low profile. But as you can see, that tucks in there beautifully. I love it. Changed the entire attitude of this thing. And as I said, all 7 million of you that hated these wheels, I said they'll look better when the vehicle doesn't look like it's a 4x4, and they look better. And they're staying, they're not going. Customer wants them. That's what matters. It's not your car. Do what you want on your car. But yeah, I am digging it. This thing is gonna look and handle awesome. So I've got about 250 or so miles on the GTO, the other GTO right now, and this system on this car, this whole RideTech system, rides friggin' unbelievable. So this one is going to be awesome as well. I've got a ton of stuff to do in the engine bay. As I said, I'm going to clean this up as much as possible. Unfortunately, this is not going to be a showpiece like the other GTO. We are just making it complete in how it's going to be, eliminating all the wires that don't need to be there, just making everything else neater. The ECU, as I said, and the fuse block, if I have enough room, which I believe I should, are both going to get mounted right here. And all the extra wire that comes with these things is going to be hidden away down in there. I would love to have just rewired the entire vehicle. But not every job calls for that, or is going to be that, or the customer wants that. And I've been spoiled because 90% of the things I work on, I do complete, it's ground up. So, but that is where we are. Oh, you guys want to hear it? Because with the tailpipes cut off, it sounds pretty awesome. But let me make sure we're in neutral. We'll put the lights on so you can see the gauges and check for a second time that we're in neutral. Oh, hey, I just remembered I disconnected the power for the fuse block. Be right back. All right, take two. You know, you'll hear the fuel pump and everything come on this time. And there we are. Oh, crap. I'll take three because I forgot I have the mass airflow disconnected. It's going to start and stay running this time, I swear to God. So sounds good. I don't want to leave it too long because there's no coolant in it. There's no belt on it. The only thing that's getting pumped through the engine right now is fuel and oil. But we are getting real close. So the stereo system that's going in this, it's getting kicker 6.5s in kick panel speakers on each side. The rear 6x9s are kicker as well. And then this kicker comp RT box and an amp is getting mounted back here as well. We use an Alpine 5-channel amp. We've had really good luck with it. This is a 2-ohm speaker setup, so that will be running the subwoofer at 300 amps or 300 watts RMS. Everything else with this, that 5-channel we use, I believe they get 65 or 70 watts. Plenty for what this is. This isn't going to any sound contest. This is just going to be a really decent bumping little system. But that is your update on the most hated YouTube from Barrett Jackson. Sorry, the most hated GTO from Barrett Jackson on YouTube. What can I say? I'm tired, people. I told you, I'm wiped. I've been going non-stopidly. I will talk to you later.